Yeah, Paul, there's been a lot of calls to lock the country down with a mandatory at-home order. The Prime Minister revealing that while many are complying with COVID-19 measures meant to flatten the curve, he's disappointed in the people who are still going rogue.
We must listen to the world-class doctors who are already sharing the best available information and advice. Ignoring them puts lives at risk.
Justin Trudeau held a video conference call with his country's premiers last night, and after more than 2 hours, the consensus was that we're not quite there yet when it comes to a Canada-wide lockdown, that it's not yet necessary for the Prime Minister to invoke the Federal Emergencies Act. That's despite a rising infection rate, especially in Quebec and Ontario. But a new poll from Campaign Research suggests a possible paradigm shift, suggesting that 76% of Canadians are voluntarily self-isolating, and that's a massive jump from 2 weeks ago, when only 11% of people said that they were doing that in a similar poll. Reporting live, Jamie Pulper, 680 News.
680 News time 6:05, with the number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits hitting an all-time record high over the past week. The latest U.S. jobs report coming out this morning is expected to show a dramatic reversal for the labor market for March. Mike Epple reports from the 680 Business Center.
The March U.S. jobs report will show likely 100,000 lost jobs over the previous month in the American labor market and an unemployment rate still below 4%. It won't truly capture what is currently going on, though, in the U.S. employment scenario. What with over 9 million Americans over the past 2 weeks filing for first-time unemployment benefits. The Labor Department's survey was conducted middle of March, before the social distancing and global economic shutdown really took hold due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Still, it will show a drop-off in employment. Consider that in all of the previous months over the past year, we had seen a historically low U.S. unemployment scenario that is going to see a spike in very short order. At the Business Center, I'm Mike Epple.
680 News Time 6:06. Concerns continue to mount about the lack of ventilators to deal with the expected surge in serious COVID-19 cases, especially since some GTA hospitals are reportedly already at capacity. 680's Carl Hansky joins us live from Etobicoke this morning with the story. Carl.
Etobicoke General Hospital in North Etobicoke, just one of the hospitals operated by the Central West Local Health Integration Network, which, according to the Toronto Star, is already operating at 127% of its baseline capacity of critical care beds units with the ventilators. In other words, it's already short of ventilators, and the worst of the pandemic hasn't even hit yet. It's being called a red alert for our health system. One pandemic modeling expert tells the Star that once we run out of ventilators, doctors have to start making choices about who gets one. The Ministry of Health says the province has nearly 1,400 ventilators on the go already, with another 210 stockpiled, another 300 on the way, and a back order of 10,000. Reporting live at Etobicoke, Carl Hansky, 680 News.
680 News time 6:07. Federal help is on the way for small businesses impacted by the pandemic, including your favorite local restaurant. Now, an organization in Toronto has started a relief fund raising money for restaurants struggling to stay afloat. Tina Yazdani has more on how the initiative works and how residents can help.
Lazy Daisy's Cafe on Gerrard is one of 30 spots to be selected as part of a new 30-day community-based fundraiser.
I was just over the moon. I was really humbled to be part of the 30 because there are so many restaurants who are struggling right now.
Taste Toronto launched the initiative last week. Already they've raised $10,500, and the funds raised will be equally divided amongst the 30 at the end of the month. Starting next week, they're transitioning to pickup and delivery, an option a number of restaurants are looking into as they look for ways to make it through this crisis. If there's a restaurant you would like to nominate that could benefit from being included in this fundraiser, you can head to our website for City News. I'm Tina Yazdani.
680 News Time 6:08. Well, with no return in sight for the NHL, players are scattered all over the country. And as we hear from our Simon Bennett, that includes Morgan Riley, who's talking about beliefs and living with Tessa Virtue.
Yes, we ask the probing questions around here.
Where do you stand on Joe Exotic?
I don't really know. I think he's nuts. Police defenseman Morgan Riley currently at his home in North Vancouver with his girlfriend, Figure skating legend Tessa Virtue. He doesn't talk about life with Tessa very much, but admitted in a conference call that he's glad he's not doing this self-isolation thing alone. It says they're trying to keep each other sane. Meanwhile, on Sportsnet's 31 Thoughts, he talked Leafs.
If you look at the big picture, I think it was up and down, which isn't the way that you want to describe your season. Obviously, when you look back at it, and I think that as a player and as a team, we have to be more consistent.
Of course, we're all cooking at home more. Hey, Morgan, what's for lunch?
Lately, it's been grilled cheese for lunch.
I'm Simon Bennett.
680 News Time 6:09.
Of course, you always want to be there for your parents and grandparents, but when you can't be right there with them, Direct Alert by TELUS Health can be. This personal emergency response service gives your loved ones access to 24/7 support at the push of a button, and knowing they're taken care of takes some of the worry away. Direct Alert by TELUS Health is simple to install yourself, ships directly to you, and starts at $25 a month. Right now, you can save up to $180 a year on select plans. Visit directalert.ca for details.
Northbound Kipling to Burnhamthorpe to Radford, 2 lanes blocked for sewer work in Oakville. Both ways through Trafalgar from Dunn to Douglas for long-term construction.
6:30 News Time, 6:10.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate online at carsforkids.ca. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll benefit a child and get a maximum tax credit.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Also accepting boats, motorcycles, RVs, and truck donations.
Does your credit card debt keep you up at night? I know mine did. Hi, I'm Adam, and 6 years ago, I was no different, so I started Newboro. Our proven step-by-step system helps homeowners eliminate debt and save thousands, like Tina.
Now I sleep at night, my debts are paid off, and I only make one monthly payment.
Read hundreds of other 5-star Google reviews and apply today to start saving.
Use your home to get a loan with Newboro.
Visit newboro.com. License 13115.
6:30 News Time, 6:11.
Traffic and weather together on the ones brought to you by Roto-Rooter Emergency Services. Here's Eva Fragiscanos.
A little bit of good news. Some of the construction starting to clear on the northbound 427, but we still have ongoing issues north 427, north of Burnhamthorpe. The express to collector transfers remain closed off for construction. Eastbound Gardner York to the Don Valley Parkway. Of course, we have long-term construction there. The 2 lanes are closed off, and that will be until next year. Northbound Avenue from Old Orchard to Brook Avenue. That's just approaching Wilson. The right lane is still closed off. That's all because of a broken water main. Roto-Rooter is fully prepared to continue to serve you in this difficult time. To help with any of your drain, plumbing, or disinfection needs, contact them 24/7 online at rotorooter.com. Next report, 6:21. Here's the forecast with Jill Taylor.
Well, the wind is quite brisk right now. We'll have that north wind through the day with increasing cloud. The guaranteed high 10 degrees. For tonight, cloudy and low 4. And for the weekend, quite a bit of cloud too. Do have a slight chance of showers Saturday night, but we make it into some sunny breaks by Sunday afternoon. Highs on the weekend 10 to about 12 degrees. The average high is 9. Right now, we've got a wind chill near -2. It's mainly clear. 3 degrees at Pearson 4 at 680 News. Our guaranteed high today, 10. 680 News Time, 6:13.
Now the Dynamic Funds Market Minute.
Over to Mike Apple at the 680 Business Center. Mike?
Hey, morning, Catherine. Morning, Paul. We're looking at a little bit of a downdraft on morning markets ahead of those U.S. jobs numbers, which will be in at 8:30 this morning for the Labor Department, expected to show a drop-off in the number of Americans employed over the past month. The Dow futures down 250 points. Once again, the correlation between market performance and the rising case numbers of COVID-19 topping the million threshold. Markets are lower on that early this morning. The price of oil continues to climb after its biggest day rally in history. Crude futures Thursday jumped 25% on this expectation that OPEC and Russia now are going to back off on this idea of a price war. Big meeting set for next Monday, a virtual meeting, also involving Canada and the U.S., according to reports. And oil futures this morning up another 6% or $1.57 at $26.90 per barrel. Gold is down $6, $16.32. The Canadian dollar down 70.41 cents. At the Business Center, I'm Mike Apple.
What's the cost of investing without advice? That's a great
How
question.
bad that
Speak
hurts.
to a financial advisor today and visit dynamic.ca/advice to find out why advice matters.
Still ahead on 680 News.
It's Friday. How's working from home going?
Did you put the drawing in? Can you turn that down for a minute? Can you give the dog some water?
That good too, eh?
680 News Time, 6:14.
Ford is built to lend a hand when our communities need it most. That's why we're introducing 6 months of payment relief. We'll defer 3 payments and make 3 payments for peace of mind up to 6 months on most vehicles for qualified buyers. Because the one thing Canadians know about adversity is that it's better when we face it together. Learn more about your options at Ford.ca. Ford, built to lend a hand.
Hasn't it been long enough? You've talked about it long enough, lived like this long enough, complained long enough. Isn't it finally time to get the basement finished?
With 0 down, 0% interest, finish your basement for as low as $140 a week. Book now and get $5,000 off your new basement. Offer expires April 15th. OAC. And by the way, we do bathroom renovations too.
AGM. This is All News Radio.
680 News. It is Friday, 4 degrees, partly clear. Good morning for the 680 News broadcast here in Toronto.
I'm Catherine Today. Here are the top stories right now.
Doug Ford says today is the day we will learn what he already knows about the COVID-19 health crisis. And the Premier warns the projections are going to be a real wake-up call to people who aren't physical distancing.
Oh, it's going to kill people. Lots of them. I know, because I can feel it inside me.
We're not quite yet at that point when it comes to invoking the Federal Emergencies Act.
It's bad. People are not
overtakes Italy
listening.
in number of COVID-19 infections, and in
Down
the
here
U.S.,
at the
the
bottom,
country
just
with the
keeping the
most
sewage running,
infections,
sir.
it is believed the peak is still about a week away. Time now for 680 Sports.
From Sportsnet 590 The Fan, Simon Bennett.
Hey, good morning. And has the NBA ruled out having traditional playoffs across North America, even if they wait until deep into the summer? Hard to say at this point what is and is not still on the table, but Sports Illustrated is reporting that the league is looking into logistics of having their entire postseason in Las Vegas. Much of this on the assumption that a traditional 2-month postseason just won't be feasible. Veteran NBA columnist Chris Sheridan.
We want to have a champion, and we want to have an 82-game schedule if we can. From a logistical standpoint, where can we get this done? We can't have teams flying all over the country like we usually do.
Meanwhile, what about baseball? SI reporting officials are considering all their options for if and when they start the season, but they would rather avoid playing games in empty stadiums or a postseason extending to near Christmas. We do know the Cubs-Cardinals series set for London, England in June has been canceled. NFL, last year's rushing leader Derrick Henry has signed his franchise tender with the Titans, so he's officially under contract for this coming season. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
680 News Time, 617.
Are you looking for a ministry-inspected online high school where you can earn credits or upgrade your marks? Learn from home with the Ontario Virtual School. The Ontario Virtual School allows you to earn OSSD credits while you learn from home, so you can get your high school diploma. Now is a good time to sign up, set your own schedule, and get 24-hour access to our certified teachers. Some courses can be completed in as little as 4 weeks. Learn more at OntarioVirtualSchool.ca.
Something's always coming up. Home improvements, kids' education, car repairs, credit card bills. Maybe you even saw a real deal on an investment property. Well, don't wait for the money to fall from the sky. Call Northwood Mortgage and start taking care of business. Use your home to save money. Pay off your mortgage faster. See why Canadians have turned to Northwood Mortgage for over a quarter of a century. Northwood Mortgage. Visit NorthwoodMortgage.com. 10349.
680 News Time, 618.
Spain passes Italy, and the COVID-19 peak in the U.S. still a way off. Our coverage of the coronavirus pandemic continues now with 680's Laura Carney, who joins us live with the latest international developments. Laura.
And Paul, more than 900 deaths in a single day in Spain again. But as we've been reporting all week, Spanish officials still confident this is the worst it is going to get. Spain has now
Yo,
overtaken
don't be
Italy
saying
in
shit
number
like
of
that. You
cases
keep
of
tempting that
coronavirus.
shit,
Now
man.
reporting
Everybody
over
knows you don't tempt shit like
117,000 infections,
get any
the
worse than
second
this.
highest in the world. The BBC's Gavin Lee.
The speed of the rate of spread in Spain is quite frightening at the moment, but Spanish authorities are saying they do believe this is the peak this week, that early into next week they're still confident that what they're saying is some of the figures we're seeing, because there's a slight delay on them, their latest projections suggest that they are starting to get this under control.
And the numbers in Italy still showing some promise, with fewer confirmed cases and deaths being reported daily. In the U.S., it is believed the peak's still about a week away. The U.S. leads the world with the most infections, with close to 250,000 COVID-19 cases and over 6,000 deaths. Dr. Anthony Fauci is calling for a federally mandated stay-at-home order.
You know, the tension between federally mandated versus states' rights to do what they want is something I don't want to get into. But if you look at what's going on in this country, I just don't understand why we're not doing that. We really should be.
And some caution in Wuhan, the original epicenter of the outbreak. Officials telling residents to still not go out unless necessary as the city begins to open up following a 2-month lockdown. Reporting live, Laura Carney, 680 News.
680 News Time, 6:19. Britain says it's trying to catch up with other countries in fighting the COVID-19 threat. ABC's Tom Rivers is in London.
Compared to countries like Germany, the UK lags far behind in terms of virus testing. Health Secretary Matt Hancock promises that will change.
Of course, we look internationally to learn what we can from abroad, but all that really matters is delivering for the nation and the whole country coming together to try to solve this great problem of coronavirus.
Ventilators as well behind where the government has projected, but more, it's hoped, will soon be in the pipeline. Tom Rivers, ABC News, London.
680 News Time, 6:20.
Hi, I'm Anthony Longo. Our family has been proud to serve Ontarians for over 60 years. And like your family, we're doing our best to stay positive during these challenging times. I'd like to thank all our team members for their continued commitment to serving our community. And I'm grateful to our loyal guests for being patient with us and with each other while we do our best to keep our shelves stocked, our stores clean, and our community safe. And even though we're all trying to keep our distance, I hope this experience will bring us all closer together. Thank you.
Every time you spend some cash, you get some cash back with the CIBC Dividend Visa Infinite Card. Every time, with no limit on how much you can earn. You'll even earn on your monthly subscriptions. And when it comes to those necessary purchases like gas and groceries, you get 4% cash back on eligible purchases. 4%. Plus, right now, your first year's annual fee is on us. Don't just spend, earn. The CIBC Dividend Visa Infinite Card. Conditions apply. Learn more at CIBC.com/cashback.
680 News Time, 6:21.
Traffic and weather together on the ones brought to you by Seneca. Here's Eva Franciscanos.
Well, still a good, decent commute out there right now. No delays on any of the major routes. We have some construction still lingering northbound on the 427 at Dundas and the Express. The right lane is still closed, and then north of Burnhamthorpe, the Express to Collector transfer lanes also still shut down. That again, all because of construction. At Seneca's virtual open house, you'll learn about their programs, campuses, financial aid, and more. Join Seneca online tomorrow, 10 till 2 at senecacollege.ca. Next report is at 6:31. Here's the extended forecast now with Jill Taylor. Well, the clouds will increase as we work through the morning. It is on the chilly side. We've got that brisk wind out of the north today. Our guaranteed high 10 degrees. For tonight, cloudy and 4. And then for the weekend, mainly cloudy. Could get some showers. I've got just a slight chance for Saturday night. A high near 10 tomorrow, 12 on Sunday. It'll be mainly cloudy, some sunny breaks for the afternoon. And then not too bad for Monday and Tuesday. Highs again above average, about 11 degrees. The average high is 9. Right now, it feels closer to -1 with the wind out of the north-northwest. It's partly cloudy, 2 degrees at Pearson, 3 and clear at 680 News. Our guaranteed high today, 10. And because Jill did not miss the weather guarantee yesterday, the jackpot climbs to $20,400.
Coming up at 6:30, the province due to release data today showing how many Ontarians could die from COVID-19 in various scenarios.
680 News Time, 6:23.
The Government of Canada and public health experts are taking action to protect Canadians from COVID-19. Protect yourself and others, especially those with medical conditions and older adults. Wash your hands often. Avoid touching your face. Cough or sneeze into your arm and disinfect surfaces. You should also avoid crowded places. Avoid all non-essential travel. And if you're sick, stay home. To learn more, visit canada.ca/coronavirus. A message from the Government of Canada.
So how is working from home going for you? Our Jeff Verholman's wrapping up his first week of reporting from his condo and joins us now with how it went.
I mean, I understand people are going stir crazy, not being able to get out, see friends, just wander the mall, but I can make breakfast whenever I want.
Jeff, you left the cupboard open again.
Oh, sorry. I get to wear comfies, don't have to get dressed.
Can you put socks on?
Yeah, okay, I'm on it. I have control of the TV remote, plus my wife is working from home too. Quality time.
Can you breathe quieter?
Anyone else? Good luck. I'm Jeff.
Can you shut the window?
Verholman.
You're with Toronto's only all-news radio, 680 News. Well, the Mount Pleasant Cemetery has closed its gates to the general public. City Councillor Josh Matlow says the decision's because too many people were walking through the cemetery and weren't adhering to safe physical distancing. Matlow tweeting a message to people who continue to ignore the advice. You're either an idiot or a selfish idiot. You're the reason we're surrendering our public spaces and civil liberties. Still to come on 680 News, Apple gives a new timeline estimate for the retail shutdown. Business in 60 seconds.
680 News time, 6:25.
At BDO Debt Solutions, we understand that uncertain times like these can be financially stressful. During this COVID-19 crisis, if you're finding it difficult to cover your monthly expenses and keep up with debt payments, the sooner you find a solution, the better. A BDO licensed insolvency trustee will provide a free over-the-phone consultation and explain your debt relief options. At BDO, we're committed to ensuring you get debt help when you need it. Call 1-855-BDO-DEBT to learn more.
This is an important message from the City of Toronto. Stay home. During the COVID-19 pandemic, social distancing means staying home. Only go out for absolute essential needs, like food and medicine. We can't emphasize the importance of this enough. Stay 6 feet apart to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Avoid contact with others. Essential and critical services are being maintained. Please do your part. Learn more at toronto.ca/COVID-19.
680 News time, 6:26.
Now the business report with Mike Apple. What's going on, Mike?
Well, as analysts for stock valuations trying to figure out exactly how long the retail shutdown will persist with the COVID-19 pandemic, the world's most valuable company is indicating that its North American retail operations will remain closed until early May. And that's sort of a best guess or case scenario. Bloomberg reporting that an internal memo to Apple employees indicates that reopening decisions on the basis of reviews and the latest guidance from local governments and public health will be the determining factor. But at the same time, they're still targeting early May at this point for reopening of their Apple stores.
What if you're a doctor, scientist, type person with an iPhone
and other locales, but
now?
obviously shut down pretty much everywhere else. Apple's online sales have been strong, however, as have all of the e-commerce platforms.
Everybody hanging out at
those companies, for the most part, weather the storm better than others. Amazon, for example, has seen its share price hold even steady for the year as its sales have surged. Same thing pretty much for Walmart. We have the stock futures this morning trending lower by 275 points on the Dow futures contract as we await the 8:30 update on U.S. jobs for the month of March. It is going to show a downturn in the U.S. labor market scenario for the previous month, but it will not fully encapsulate the overall most recent damage that we have seen for the U.S. labor market, what with more than 9 million Americans just over the past week filing for first-time unemployment benefits. The March data may show a decline of about 100,000 jobs. The data points tabulated pretty much in the first half of last month. The Canadian unemployment statistics won't be in for another week. We have the price for oil moving higher this morning, coming off its biggest ever single-day advance. Up 25% was the U.S. benchmark for crude on Thursday after U.S. President Donald Trump tweeted about Russia and Saudi Arabia and other global players perhaps cutting production by as much as 10 million barrels. Whether that's on a daily or overall basis remains to be seen. The Trump administration will host executives from the energy sector today in Washington. On Monday of next week, OPEC plus Russia plus the U.S. and Canada apparently will be holding a virtual conference call to discuss the idea of a production rollback. We're looking right now at the price for oil up by $1.11 at $26.42 per barrel U.S. The Canadian dollar coming in at 70.38 cents, and that's down by 1/3 of a cent. At the Business Center, I'm Mike Apple.
Ford is built to lend a hand when our communities need it most. That's why we're introducing 6 months of payment relief. We'll defer 3 payments and make 3 payments for peace of mind up to 6 months on
You make the first 3, defer the second 3, and
because the one thing Canadians know about
find it after that, you can have it back.
is that it's better when we face it together. Learn more about your options at Ford.ca. Ford, built to lend a hand.
On April 6th, the Today Showstopper at TSC
This
will
may
be the
sound
Curtis
fucked
Stone
up, but I'm glad I got B19 and I'm glad I got whatever this is that I think is probably COVID-19.
casserole dish and
It has been
multiple pans,
tested.
lids, and sheets.
I don't think they're telling us everything. I don't think they're telling us
Whether it's
everything.
stovetop crepes, induction frying,
Or
oven
they've told us
baking,
everything and it's just it's right there in front of us and we're missing it. There's something really bad about this shit. You can't live like that.
Showstopper. Shop TSC.ca. Today's shopping choice.
Jill Taylor's
Back
latest
shiver.
forecast calling for increasing
Burn off all their
cloud
energy
today
and
and a
die.
680 News guaranteed high of 10. Our jackpot $20,300. For tomorrow, mainly cloudy, slight chance of showers Saturday night, high of 10. And for Sunday, mainly cloudy, some sunny breaks and a high near 12. Right now, 4 degrees, mainly clear in downtown Toronto.
4
680
degrees.
News time,
Wasn't it like 1 degree, 2 degrees?
Number 1 for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Here are Paul Cook and Catherine Jeté.
Fuck on my fucking status bar here. It's been stuck on 9:59.
Here's what's making news
31
right now.
minutes.
Premier Doug Ford says today he will let us know
Old
what he
reliable
knows
over
about
there,
how
still
deadly
wrong.
COVID-19 could be in Ontario. Ford
Oh.
says the projections will be hard for some to hear, a wake-up call for others.
So what are the
Oh,
chances
man, I
of a
think I'm gonna
mandatory
sleep, but now I gotta
Canada-wide
sleep this
stay-at-home
morning.
order? Apparently, it's not necessary just yet. The Prime Minister and the country's premiers making the call after a 2-hour virtual meeting.
A report finds some hospitals in the west end of the GTA are already experiencing a ventilator shortage. It's being called a red alert.
It looks like no options are off the table when it comes to leagues finishing their seasons, including maybe the entire NBA playoffs in Las Vegas. Sports at 45.
Stock futures down as the COVID-19 case count climbs worldwide. We'll get the U.S. jobs numbers this morning, and the oil market rally continues. Business at 56.
Gotta go whatever this respiratory
Time
thing
for
is.
680 News,
Now I'm not
traffic
afraid
and
of
weather
getting it.
together on the ones. For the government of Ontario, here is Eva Francescanos.
They are
A little bit of good
over
news. If you're northbound on the
everything right now.
427 at
This is
Dundas and
real.
Express, the
Oh.
construction there has cleared. And then north of
B19 has
Express
my
to Collector
skin
transfers the
changing
construction
colors
through
right
there. It has also cleared away. Eastbound Kingston Road at Danforth, we have some lanes closed off. That's all because of water
Better
main
than
installation.
tattoos.
Common symptoms of COVID-19 are fever, cough, and difficulty breathing. Take
Cough,
Ontario's
difficulty
online
breathing. Yeah, I think
self-assessment.
we
Visit
documented my symptoms so
ontario.ca/coronavirus. Next report is at 6:41. Here's a check on the forecast now. It's Jill Taylor.
Well, you
Stay
feel
home,
better
stay
next
safe.
day.
If you
Oh,
have to
cough out
head
of
out
nowhere.
right
Piece of
now,
phlegm
dress
comes out.
for
Hits
wind chill
somebody in the
minus
fucking
1.
eye.
We'll have increasing cloud
He's
today
got
and
the
cloudy
equivalent
tonight
of
with a low
fucking
near
AIDS
4. Right now, feels
and
like
Ebola
minus
mixed
1. It's
together.
partly cloudy, 2 degrees at Pearson, 3 at 680 News. Our guaranteed high today, 10.
680 News time, 6:32.
Premier Ford is warning it will be hard to hear. His government is set to release modeling data today showing just how deadly COVID-19 could be in this province.
680's Kevin Meiser joins us live from Queen's Park ahead of what is expected to be a sobering news conference. Kevin.
Well, Paul, the Premier says his motivation here is to release the projection data today and deliver a wake-up call for Ontario residents who still aren't getting the message about physical distancing.
If we don't change our habits, if we don't follow the chief medical officer's protocol, I just want to. It's going to be stark, as I mentioned.
Earlier in the week, Ford was resisting calls for the data to be released on how many people could die from COVID-19 in Ontario. But now with most snowbirds back home, health officials, he says, can now make more accurate measurements and projections. 680 News political affairs specialist John Stahl says Doug Ford has surprisingly outflanked Prime Minister Justin Trudeau when it comes to being open and transparent on this issue,
are running
telling the
up on
public about
me.
the potential
I'm
toll the
trying to
virus
step
could
away
take.
from them and
Justin
shit.
Trudeau, on the other hand, continues to bob and weave on the question, says he'll share what his government is expecting based on modeling data in the coming days, but the public chorus is getting louder for him to share it now.
Ontario has confirmed nearly 2,800 cases of COVID-19, including 53 deaths and 831 recoveries.
At Queen's Park, Kevin Meisner, 680 News.
680 News Time, 6:33. Prime Minister Trudeau admits too many people are still going out when they don't need to, but he's not ready to take drastic measures yet. 680's Jamie Pulfer is here live with what was said in a conference call with the premiers last night. Jamie.
Yeah, Catherine, and why not lock the country down, forcing people to stay home? The Prime Minister is still trying to convince Canadians to take this seriously.
What the experts are telling us is that we must do everything we can today and tomorrow to set us on the right path for next week and next month.
And that means staying away from other people as much as possible. And even though some are still obviously choosing to ignore that, Justin Trudeau says that we're not quite there yet when it comes to invoking the Federal Emergencies Act. The Prime Minister and this country's premiers all on the same page at this point, agreeing that such drastic action isn't necessary yet. This after a more than 2-hour virtual meeting last night.
Is any other jurisdiction doing that?
Is offering some hope that people are taking this seriously. Campaign research finds that more than 3/4 of Canadians are now voluntarily self-isolating, and you can compare that to a similar poll just 2 weeks ago when only 11% were doing that. Reporting live, Jamie Pulfer, 680 News.
680 News Time, 6:35. Experts say we are nowhere near the peak of this pandemic, and yet some hospitals in the west end of the GTA have reportedly already exhausted their supply of ventilators. 680's Carl Hansky joins us live from Etobicoke with the latest. Carl.
Yeah, well, according to the Toronto Star, the Central West Local Health Integration Network, which includes Etobicoke General Hospital here in North Etobicoke, hospitals in Brampton and Orangeville, is already using its entire supply of ventilators on current patients. That's not what residents want to hear, with the worst of the coronavirus still to come.
Well, it's pretty concerning given the rate at which this pandemic seems to be picking up. You want to know if they get sick, that they'll be able to take proper care of you. Absolutely, yeah.
Staff here tell me they're doing their best until more supplies arrive. The Ministry of Health says there are 1,400 intensive care beds with ventilators province-wide, plus another 210 ventilators stockpiled. There are 300 more ventilators on the way and 10,000 on order. Reporting live in North Etobicoke, Carl Hansky, 680 News.
680 News Time, 6:36. 16 residents of Peel region who received negative test results for COVID-19 are now finding out that they do have the virus. Peel's interim medical officer of health
knew for a fact that's what they had in the doctor's
Tuesday and Wednesday this week after some positive tests were accidentally mixed with a batch of negative results received from a lab. He says all the people affected have been contacted and changes have been made to the notification process to make sure this doesn't happen in the future.
680 News Time, 6:36. The city's real estate market was showing strength on the cusp of the pandemic shutdown. The latest data from the Toronto Real Estate Board indicates that buyers were out in force last month, at least until a late-month slowdown. Our Mike Apple reports from the 680 Business Center.
Yeah, because suddenly going to 10 different strangers' houses with 100 other strangers in a row doesn't
measures to stem the spread of COVID-19 really took hold. March sales, according to the Toronto Region Real Estate Board, rose 12.3% from a year ago to just over 8,000 transactions. The average home price up 14.5% to just over $900,000. Trump President Michael Collins saying in the report, uncertainty surrounding the outbreak's impact on the broader economy and the onset of necessary social distancing measures resulted in the decline in sales since March 15th. The average price of a detached home, though, up 12.5%, so $1.1 million. Condo prices up 17.5% to $658,000. At the Business Center, I'm Mike Apple.
680 News Time, 6:37. TTC drivers dealing with an additional hardship on top of the COVID-19 pandemic. They're not being allowed to go to the washroom on a regular day. Bus and streetcar operators were able to go into coffee shops, gas stations, and other businesses on their routes, which allowed them to use the facilities. But since the outbreak began, drivers say businesses have stopped letting them in. One driver tells the Toronto Star she's been refused access to washrooms 3 times since the city began to go into lockdown. A TTC spokesperson says they're addressing the issue by working to put portables at strategic locations.
680 News Time, 6:38. With research showing COVID-19 can be spread by people who seem to be healthy, the Trump administration is close to recommending
finding that many Americans wear masks in public.
It would apply to people in areas where the virus is moving quickly and be voluntary. They can pretty much decide for themselves. The White House Coronavirus Task Force Coordinator Deborah Birx worries about masks giving a false sense of security. They won't exclusively protect you. Birx says everybody's heard it over and over, but here's what will.
The most important thing is the social distancing and washing your hands.
She says new data shows social distancing is not happening as much as needed to keep virus-related deaths to a minimum. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
The Scarborough Health Network has received a donation of 8,000 masks as many hospitals deal with a shortage of personal protective equipment in the midst of COVID-19. The donation from Investar Global Financial Group was secured by the Scarborough Agent Court MPP, who helped deliver the masks yesterday.
680 News Time, 6:39.
I used to be one of those cranky builders running a small business with no time for anyone else. Excuse me for a second. Did you look in the truck? But with QuickBooks, I get paid, stay organized, and run payroll. So now I can focus on training the next generation. Nothing in the truck, eh? Okay, run to a hardware store and ask for a left-handed screwdriver. Don't take no for an answer.
QuickBooks, the easy way to a happier business. For a limited time, save 90% when you buy Intuit QuickBooks. Visit QuickBooks.ca for full offer details.
City streets, Richmond, down to a single lane from University to Spadina for water main work. Shepherd both ways, east of the 400. It's down to a single lane for construction.
Prostate 1 from Avogel, a once-a-day traditional herbal medicine for men suffering from symptoms of enlarged prostate, such as frequent urination and sexual dysfunction. Prostate 1 from Avogel. Feel and perform your best. Prostate 1, wherever natural health products are sold.
That's a lot of water that's never good luck when you untuck a long, bulky dress shirt. It just looks sloppy. That's why Untuck It makes shirts specifically designed to be worn untucked. And not only do they look good, they feel great too. Untuck It offers 50 fit combinations, so tall, short, slim, and bigger guys can experience the perfect fitting shirt. While our stores are temporarily closed, please go to untuckit.ca, where you can browse and purchase from our extensive new spring line. Use promo code Canada for 20% off your entire first purchase. Untuckit.ca. Promo code Canada.
Prostate 1 from Avogel, a once-a-day traditional herbal medicine for men suffering from symptoms of enlarged prostate, such as frequent urination and sexual dysfunction. Prostate 1 from Avogel. Feel and perform your best. Prostate 1, wherever natural health products are sold.
680 News Time, 6:41.
Time for 680 News traffic and weather together on the ones for adyen.com. Here's Eva Francescato.
Well, right now, if you're on any of the major routes, pretty quiet out there on the 401 across the GTA, on the QEW, on the Gardner, all your routes right now, you're in great shape. You don't have anything really to worry about if you must head out onto the roadways this morning. Want to give your customers the best experience? Adyen is the single payments platform delivering convenience for all. Visit Adyen, ADYEN.com to learn more. Next report is at 6:51. Here's a check on the forecast with Joe Taylor. Increasing cloud force today with a guaranteed high 10 degrees of brisk north wind. For tonight, cloudy and 4. And for the weekend, quite a bit of cloud. I do have a slight chance of showers Saturday night. High near 10 degrees tomorrow, up to 12 on Sunday. And quite a bit of cloud to start, but we may get into some sunny breaks for Sunday afternoon. Right now, it feels like -1. It's partly cloudy, 2 degrees at Pearson, 3 clear at 680 News. Our guaranteed high today, 10.
680 News Time, 6:43.
Now the Dynamic Funds Market Minute.
Over to Mike Epple at the 680 Business Center.
Well, good morning. Right now, we're looking at markets holding back a little bit before we get some U.S. jobs data. And the case count climbs for the COVID-19 pandemic worldwide. The Dow Futures Index is down about 275 points. The March reports on U.S. labor market statistics won't likely capture the full damage that is currently being done to the U.S. economy from the pandemic. The Canadian jobs report due a week from today. Price for oil up again by an additional 5% on top of the 25% rally that we saw yesterday. We'll have a meeting on Monday between OPEC and other players in the energy market to hopefully cut production. The price for gold is down $7 at $16.30 the ounce. The Canadian dollar down a third of a cent at 70.41 cents U.S. At the Business Center, I'm Mike Epple.
What's the cost of investing without advice? That's a great question. Speak to a financial advisor today and visit dynamic.ca/advice to find out why advice matters.
Still to come on 6 City News.
You know who I really miss during this? My barber. But apparently no amount of money will have stylists breaking social distancing.
6 City News Time, 6:44.
For 200 years we were slaves, until God himself took us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. This week, the 8-day festival of Passover begins. It marks the liberation of the Jewish nation from Egyptian bondage. In celebration of our miraculous freedom, the first 2 nights are observed with ritually laden family feasts. Most important, the mitzvah of eating matzah and taking part in relating the biblical narrative of our Exodus. As always, Chabad Lubavitch, along with our 3,000 affiliate branches around the world, are here to help with all your holiday needs. Whether you wish to sell your chametz, obtain round hand-baked shmura matzah, call or visit us at www.chabad.ca. Steele's Memorial Chapel wishes you a joyous and meaningful Pesach.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
It's a clear sky, 3 degrees in downtown Toronto. Good morning. Broadcast Center, I'm Catherine Jeté.
I'm Paul Cook, and here are the top stories right now.
We are expecting to see some stark numbers today from the province, with Queen's Park set to reveal the modeling data on just how bad COVID-19 could get, including the projected number of deaths. Prime Minister Trudeau says he's not yet considering a mandatory stay-at-home order in a conference call with the premiers last night. And still to come on 680 News.
Another dark day in Spain, overtaking Italy in the number of coronavirus infection numbers, now second only to the U.S. And in the United States, close to 250,000 people are now infected.
680 News Time, 6:45. Time now for 680 Sports.
From Sportsnet 590 The Fan, here is Simon Bennett.
Well, here's one for you. The NBA playoffs in Vegas. Sports Illustrated reporting the league is looking into holding its entire postseason in Las Vegas. This is nowhere near official. They're just finding ways to resume right now. As Chris Mannix was in Tim and Sid.
If it becomes medically feasible to do something like this, I really have almost no doubt that it would take place in Las Vegas. Because, guys, you simply can't have city-to-city series. You just can't, because it stands to reason that every city is going to be in a different situation come July.
Now, chances are if this does happen, the playoffs would not be best-of-7 game series, but anything from early round single elimination games to best-of-5 being considered. What about baseball? SI reporting officials are considering all their options for if and when they start the season. They would rather avoid playing in empty buildings or have a postseason stretch near Christmas. Despite reports to the contrary, no official decision has been made yet on the status of the British Open scheduled for July. In a statement to ESPN, RNA CEO Martin Slumbers said they are still working through their options. Sports 15 and 45 best every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
6 City News Time, 6:46.
HSBC Bank has one of Canada's lowest mortgage rates.
Hey, open up.
In fact, they're so good our lawyers are nervous.
This isn't funny. This is serious.
For a limited time, get an interest rate of 1.99% on a 3-year fixed closed-term high-ratio mortgage.
Let me in.
Oh, hey, legal.
Finally. Rates are subject to change without notice. A high-ratio mortgage is when a customer obtains a personal mortgage with mortgage default insurance with HSBC Bank Canada. Visit hsbc.ca/first home for details and restrictions.
HSBC. Together we thrive.
We've all heard those home renovation stories. Hi, I'm Jeannie Becker. Georgian Renovations has created Smart Reno to offer a home renovation that's quick, easy, and affordable. Simply choose from the Smart Reno packages or work with award-winning designers to create a vision that is truly your own. With a guaranteed price and time frame, it's never been easier to transform your home into something you'll fall in love with again. Get your free, no-obligation instant estimate today at GeorgianReno.com.
680 News Time, 6:47.
Single-day deaths in Spain surpass 900, while the number of Americans infected with COVID-19 soars. 680's Laura Carney joins us live with the latest international developments. Laura.
Catherine, another dark day in Spain, recording more than 900 deaths in a single day again. And the number of coronavirus infections now more than 117,000, overtaking Italy for the second highest in the world, second only now to the United States. But health officials believe this is the worst it is going to get. with the rate of new infections in Spain slowing dramatically. Now, in Italy, the country with the most number of deaths, it appears the virus has peaked with the number of new infections leveling off after 3 weeks of a nationwide shutdown. But the BBC's Gavin Lee reports the big problem now, crematoriums are at capacity.
The main crematorium in Milan, in the Lombardy region, where the 7,000 deaths have happened, has been closed as of this morning for across April because they cannot cope with the number of cases. There's a backlog of 20 days, so all cremations from now have to take place in other parts of the country.
In the UK, a massive temporary hospital with the capability of housing 4,000 patients opens today in London. In Japan, the governor of Tokyo talking about the possibility of using the under construction Olympic Athletes Village as a temporary hospital for coronavirus patients. And in the U.S., which has recorded the highest daily death total in this pandemic, with over 1,000 in a single day, there have been calls for a federally mandated stay-at-home order, but a leading doctor with the World Health Organization does not think that's the right approach.
You don't necessarily have a one-size-fits-all approach. What really is the most effective thing is a functioning at a community level.
Over a quarter million Americans have been infected with COVID-19. Reporting live, Laura Carney, 680 News.
Hundreds of Canadians stranded aboard 2 COVID-19 stricken cruise ships will soon be back on home soil nearly a month after setting sail across South America. The Zaandam and the Rotterdam docked in Florida yesterday afternoon following days of tense talk between officials on land over whether to let the ships port. Justin Trudeau pledging to charter all asymptomatic Canadians home in the coming days, but didn't provide an exact timeline. Following the COVID outbreak on board the Zaandam in mid-March, passengers were locked into their cabins for 12 days. Several people had tested positive, 4 later died. It could take days to screen all passengers before they get off the ships. 45 people deemed too sick to travel will be treated on board. None of them is Canadian.
680 News Time, 6:50.
Your home is more than just a place to live. It's your window of opportunity. With a home equity loan from Capital Direct, your home can provide valuable equities that will give you the freedom to complete those renovations, support your business, or simply get your debt in line. An easy call to 1-800-NEW-CAPITAL will open the doors to all the good things you thought were beyond your reach as a homeowner. So pick up the phone and call 1-800-NEW-CAPITAL today. CapitalDirect.ca.
I'm here with Bill Coy of Coy Brothers, and we're talking about purchasing parts online.
We understand you put in a hard day's work. One of your pieces of equipment broke and you need a part. And we understand time is money, so our shipping is fast.
It's like ordering takeout, but for your equipment.
Right. Belts, filters, spark plugs.
Oh my!
All the most popular parts when you need them. And when you spend $50 or more on parts, shipping is free.
Put a part in your cart at KoiBros.com.
KOOYPROS.com.
680 News Time, 6:51.
Time for 680 News, traffic and weather together on the ones for Trillium Health Partners Foundation. Here's Eva Fragiscatos.
Well, right now, not a lot happening. If you're east or westbound on the 401, everything looks to be in great shape. You don't have any delays or problems to slow down your drive this morning if you must head out. We've got some construction setting up right now, westbound 407, just west of Bronte. They're going to close the left lane at around 7 o'clock this morning to do some wall repairs. Help Trillium Health Partners respond to COVID-19 by donating personal protective equipment. Their frontline staff are fighting for your lives. They need you to join the fight. Find out how at trilliumgiving.ca/PPE. Next report is at 7:01. Here's the extended forecast with Jill Taylor.
It's a cool start for us. The clouds are increasing and the wind quite brisk right now out of the north-northwest. That wind will stay with us through the day. The guaranteed high 10 degrees for tonight, cloudy and 4. And for the weekend, quite a bit of cloud. I've got a slight chance of showers Saturday night, a high near 10 tomorrow, up to 12 on Sunday. Could get some sunny breaks for Sunday afternoon. Looks pretty good for Monday and Tuesday. May have a bit of cloud. Right now, it's partly cloudy, 2 at Pearson, 3 and clear at 680 News. Feels like -1 right now. The guaranteed high today, 10.
This extended forecast is brought to you by Bellier Brothers. Bellier Brothers, experts in heating and cooling older Toronto homes since 1908. Save energy with a high-efficiency combination boiler. Call Bellier 416-425-1200.
Coming up at 7 o'clock, we'll get a look today at modeling data from the province on just how bad COVID-19 could get. And the Premier says it will be hard to hear.
680 News Time, 6:53.
In times like these, shouldn't your money work even harder for you? We think so. That's why at Duca Credit Union, you get no-fee checking accounts. You also get high interest on deposits and investments and low mortgage rates. Plus, you get to share in the profits. That's the Duca difference. And now we're offering 2.5% interest on your savings until March 31st, 2021. Find out how at earnmore.duca.com. Do more, be more, achieve more with Duca Credit Union. Conditions apply.
This is 680 News. We are 3 weeks into all of this, and one thing is for sure, we miss our hairstylists. Our Jeff Verhoeven spoke with one to see how they're doing and to get some tips if we get really desperate.
Yeah, Amanda Rainoni, or Hair by Amanda R on Instagram, works at Halo Hair Studio in Maple. Her specialty, balayage. That's where you sit in a chair for 4 hours and watch your wife get her hair done. But she tells me people are getting desperate.
I do get the odd message of them kind of like bribing me to take the pee 3 times as much just to come over to their house and quickly do a root touch-up. But again, I think everybody's in general understanding that we can do that. I wish we could, but we just can't.
But most importantly, I had to ask, Amanda, I look like Tom Hanks in Castaway. Paul is about a week away from a man bun. How do we cut our own hair?
Well, I'm definitely not responsible for any home haircuts or box color or anything as such.
All right, fair. I'm Jeff Verhoeven.
I do know. I think you've gone a little heavier on the gel today to get that under control. Yeah.
Hopefully that's not going to start getting hoarded in stores. We'll be in big trouble.
I'll just bring my bzz, bzz. Yeah.
No, don't do that.
Give you the, No.
That looks good on a 6-year-old boy, but not on a grown man.
Coming up in 60 seconds, OPEC gears up for a global meeting on oil production. We'll have the business report.
680 News Time, 6:55.
Dear Real Canadian Superstore, No Frills customers, flyers are now digital only. Please know that low price commitment is still the #1 priority, and they're still providing great weekly promotions and offers. Find them in store on superstore.ca, nofrills.ca, and in the PC Optimum app.
At BDO Debt Solutions, we know that life is full of unexpected events that can negatively impact your finances. Many people who come to us for debt help have had to rely on credit to survive tough situations. In these uncertain times, if you're experiencing financial difficulties and need help to resolve your debt problems, a BDO licensed insolvency trustee can provide an initial consultation and offer debt help services by phone. Call 1-855-BDO-DEBT to learn more.
Dear Real Canadian Superstore, No Frills customers, flyers are now digital only. Please know that low price commitment is still the #1 priority, and they're still providing great weekly promotions and offers. Find them in store on superstore.ca, nofrills.ca, and in the PC Optimum app.
680 News Time, 6:56.
Now the 680 News business report. Here is Mike Apple.
Catherine, the price for oil coming off its biggest ever one-day advance. It was up by 25% on the U.S. trade Thursday and 66% for the Canadian benchmark, Western Canadian Select Price. This after U.S. President Donald Trump tweeted that he had spoken to the Crown Prince in Saudi Arabia about the idea of a production cut. And as of Monday, OPEC will be holding a virtual meeting with other players in the cartel, plus Russia, plus reportedly representatives from the U.S. and Canadian energy industries. Prior to this, OPEC, as a cartel, was sort of a standalone unit, but with the global demand and price destruction in the oil trade most recently, they're looking to potentially do a worldwide production cutback of around 10 million barrels per day. So with that, the price for oil extending Thursday's rally by 4.5%, up by $1.16 at $26.48 per barrel. The Western Canadian Select Price, even though it jumped 66% yesterday, which was $3.50, it's still below $9 per barrel U.S., still relatively historically on the low end of the spectrum. We had the energy-related stocks rally in a big way on Thursday, as you might expect, on Bay Street. That helped lift the TSX to a gain of 221 points, and the Dow surged 469 points. The energy companies were by far the best players on both sides of the border. Suncor, for example, gained about 10%. ExxonMobil up by 7%. And could see a little bit more follow through this morning on that particular component of the market. Having said that, We're still looking at Dow futures down 211 points, or 1%, as we are going to get the U.S. labor market stats for the month of March at 8:30 this morning. And even though they might be a little bit dated at this point, with the ripple effect of the COVID-19 pandemic hitting the U.S. labor market and indeed the Canadian scenario, we're still looking at that as an overall trend setter. The Canadian jobs report, incidentally, will be in a week from today. Canadian dollar holding right now just above 70 cents U.S., down 1/3 cent at the Business Center. I'm Mike Epple.
Tom Rokicki of Inline Fiberglass Windows. You're probably already aware of the benefits in selecting our fiberglass windows: beauty, performance, and durability. But did you know that our fiberglass windows were carefully selected by building professionals for the Greenpeace National Headquarters, Canada's Greenest Home, and CMHC's Healthy House? It's no coincidence that vinyl, wood, or aluminum windows were not selected for these projects. Visit us at our Factory Direct showroom or at inlinefiberglass.com.
My name is Kate, and my son goes to Tyndale University. I suggested Tyndale because I want a university that will build on the foundation we built as a family. A university that will shape my child, where he can grow and learn academically and in his faith to better prepare him for success. Where professors don't just teach, but mentor my child to become the person they're meant to be.
Find out more. Go to Tyndale.ca. That's Tyndale with a Y.ca.
Now, 680 News regional weather conditions for Walmart.
To all Walmart associates working in stores, distribution centers, and on the road across the country, Walmart thanks you for all that you do.
Right now in downtown Toronto, clear, 3 degrees. 680 News is CFTR AM Toronto. It's 7 o'clock.
Number one for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Here are Paul Cook and Catherine Jete.
Good morning. This is Friday, the 3rd of April.
Here's what's making news right now.
The Ontario government is set to release projections today about how many people in the province could die from COVID-19. Data the Premier says will be difficult for many to hear.
We're not quite there yet. That's what the Prime Minister is saying about issuing a national stay-at-home order, and that's the consensus after a conference call with all of the country's premiers.
Some West End hospitals are reportedly already short on ventilators, with the worst of the pandemic still to come.
It is very concerning indeed.
It's a race against time until more arrive.
Those giant waterlogged paper bags of yard waste lining your street will finally get picked up starting Monday as the city resumes the service for the next 2 weeks, and then we'll decide if it's to continue.
The NBA is said to be considering all kinds of options for resuming their season, including possibly having the entire postseason in Vegas. Sports at 15.
Morning markets trending lower ahead of the U.S. labor market stats due this morning. The price for oil extending Thursday's rally with a big OPEC meeting set for Monday. Business at 26.
680 News time, 7:01.
Traffic and weather together on the ones, brought to you by the Government of Ontario. Here's Eva Franciscanos.
Well, we still don't have much happening out there right now. Everything is moving quite well. If you're on the 401 right across the GTA, we don't have any problems that you'll run into. Everything, again, is moving at the limit, and we don't have any problems on the 427. All the construction through there has wrapped up. And if you're westbound on the 407 west of Bronte, we do have the left lane closed off, and that's all due to wall repairs. Concerned you have symptoms of COVID-19? Take Ontario's online self-assessment to learn if you need to seek care. Visit ontario.ca/coronavirus. Paid for by the Government of Ontario. Next report is at 7:11. Here's the forecast with Jill Taylor. It's another dry day for us, but we'll have more cloud today. Right now, it feels like -1 with a brisk wind out of the north-northwest. Partly cloudy, 2 degrees at Pearson, 3 at 680 News. Our guaranteed high today, 10.
680 News time, 7:02.
Stark and sobering. That is how Premier Ford describes the data his government is set to release today, showing just how many people in this province could die from COVID-19.
680's Kevin Meisner is at Queen's Park setting the scene for today's news conference. Kevin.
Well, Catherine, Premier Doug Ford is warning these projections to be announced later on today at Queen's Park will be difficult for many to hear. But he says people need to understand why decisions around social and physical distancing and the closure of businesses have had to be made.
We have to be fully transparent with the people of Ontario, no matter how hard it is.
they have to know the reason I'm making decisions.
Just 2 days ago, Ford was resisting calls to release these projections, but now he says it's important that everyone have the same information he has. Data, he says, could serve as a wake-up call to people who aren't taking physical distancing measures seriously. And as we hear from 680 News political affairs specialist John Stahl, Premier Ford is now a step ahead of the Prime Minister, who hasn't committed yet to releasing a national projection.
Not that it's a political competition at this point, but the Premier is pulling no punches in deciding that we all deserve to know now the same information that he has, based on medical modeling, about how bad COVID-19 could be in Ontario.
There are close to 2,800 cases of COVID-19 in Ontario, including 53 deaths and 831 resolved cases. At Queen's Park, Kevin Meisner, 680 News.
680 News Time 7:04. The issue of a potential mandatory stay-at-home order came up during a conference call last night between the Prime Minister and the Premiers. Our Jamie Pulford joins us live with what Justin Trudeau had to say. Jamie.
Yeah, Paul, we all heard this public scolding from Justin Trudeau.
It's up to you to do the right thing. While many of you are staying home and limiting trips to the grocery store, too many still aren't.
Yeah, people still ignoring the calls for social distancing despite a rapidly rising infection rate right across the country. Even so, the Prime Minister says we're not quite there yet when it comes to invoking the Federal Emergencies Act. Trudeau had a 2-hour video conference call with this country's premiers last night. The consensus is that a mandatory stay-at-home order isn't necessary yet. We are seeing a pretty encouraging new poll from campaign research today. It finds 3/4 of Canadians are now voluntarily self-isolating at home due to this pandemic. That is a huge change from a similar poll done just 2 weeks ago that suggested only 11% were self-isolating. Reporting live, Jamie Pulford, 680 News.
680 News Time 7:05. This news segment brought to you by the Herzig Eye Institute. Healthcare workers have warned for weeks that the province might not have enough ventilators for the expected surge in COVID-19 patients. And one GTA health region has reportedly already exhausted its supply. 680's Carl Hansky is in Etobicoke and joins us live with the story. Carl.
Yeah, Catherine, what's happening here at the Central West Local Health Integration Network is being called a red alert. According to the Toronto Star, Etobicoke General Hospital here in North Etobicoke and the network's other hospitals in Brampton and Orangeville already have all their ventilators in use before the peak of the pandemic arrives. This nurse tells me.
It's a little bit stressful. It's like we're waiting for the bomb to drop. The high intensity areas are full, but we're keeping ahead right now. Problem is going to be supplies. We're feeling that already.
There are currently almost 1,500 critical care beds with ventilators across the province. The Ministry of Health says it also has 210 more ventilators stockpiled, another 300 on the way, plus an additional 10,000 ventilators on order. Reporting live in North Etobicoke, Carl Hansky, 680 News.
680 News Time 7:06. Peel Public Health is apologizing after accidentally sending the wrong results to over a dozen people who were tested for COVID-19. In a release, the interim medical officer of health says 16 residents received negative test results when in fact they had tested positive for the virus. He says some positive test slips were mixed with a batch of negative results received from a lab. Changes have been made to the process of sending out notifications to ensure this does not happen again. And all patients who received an incorrect letter have been contacted. This comes as Peel Record records its second COVID-19 death. A man in his 60s died at Brampton Civic Hospital yesterday.
680 News Time 7:07. A COVID-19 outbreak has been declared at Oshawa Hospital. Janella Massa of City News reports.
Lakeridge Health says a patient on the inpatient unit has contracted the virus along with a healthcare worker treating that patient. Durham Region Health says the individuals have been properly isolated and are receiving care and being monitored. The unit has been temporarily closed to admissions.
There are reports a second patient on the unit may also be infected. The hospital says it continues to take all the necessary steps to stop the spread of COVID-19 and protect its healthcare workers and patients.
This is 680 News. Well, you have yard waste bags piling up at home. You can finally get rid of them. The city says yard waste collection will resume next Monday for a period of 2 weeks until Friday, April 17th. The start of the seasonal yard waste pickup was suspended last month as part of the city's response to COVID-19. After the 2-week period, the city will determine if it can continue the service.
This is 680 News. With the tennis schedule on the shelf until at least mid-July, the world's top pros are looking for ways to stay in shape and interact with fans. As our Simon Bennett tells us, one legend is doing both.
You know it's been a tough week for Roger Federer. Wimbledon, which he has won 8 times, canceled this week. 2 days ago, he tweeted one word, devastated. But he's also putting on a brave face while trying to stay in shape and sharing it on social media.
Hey guys, I just wanted to show you a little glimpse of how I'm practicing at home, again against the wall, like in the old days.
You get a brief glimpse of his Swiss mansion, a villa in the Swiss mountains. There is still snow on the ground. It looks picturesque as he practices in front of what looks like his garage. The video shot from the ground off his phone.
Staying active at home, very important at the moment. I'll keep practicing in the meantime. Maybe I go for a run later.
Okay, Rod, don't hit your phone.
Stay safe, everybody. Take care.
I'm Simon Bennett.
680 News Time, 7:09.
Of course, you always want to be there for your parents and grandparents, but when you can't be right there with them, Direct Alert by TELUS Health can be. This personal emergency response service gives your loved ones access to 24/7 support at the push of a button, and knowing they're taken care of takes some of the worry away. Direct Alert by TELUS Health is simple to install yourself, ships directly to you, and starts at $25 a month. Right now, you can save up to $180 a year on select plans. Visit directalert.ca for details.
City streets, eastbound Shepherd, east of Cheswood, a lane is blocked for sewer work. Westbound Lakeshore approaching Islington, the right lane is blocked for water main work.
680 News Time, 7:10.
Northwood Mortgage people work harder to find solutions just for you. One example, Northwood regularly helps families get into new homes after the bank has turned them down. Unlike the big banks, Northwood Mortgage is more flexible. Northwood Mortgage listens and works harder to create a solution that's customized for you. Northwood Mortgage. Visit northwoodmortgage.com.
License 10349.
I used to be one of those cranky builders running a small business with no time for anyone else. Excuse me for a second. Did you look in the truck? Both QuickBooks, I get paid, stay organized, and run payroll. So now I can focus on training the next generation. Nothing in the truck, eh? Okay, run to a hardware store and ask for a left-handed screwdriver. Don't take no for an answer.
QuickBooks, the easy way to a happier business. For a limited time, save 90% when you buy Intuit QuickBooks. Visit QuickBooks.ca for full offer details.
680 News Time, 7:11.
Traffic and weather together on the ones brought to you by agmbasements.com. Here's Eva Fracascados.
Well, it's still pretty quiet out there right now. If you're westbound on the 407 west of Bronte, we do have that wall repair happening in the left lane. That's not affecting the drive at all. Eastbound on the Gardner, westbound on the Gardner looks great right now. And the QEW through Burlington, Oakville, and Mississauga, again, not spotting any issues. Of course, the roads very lightly traveled, of course, this morning. Take your basement from storage to sensational with the GTA's most trusted renovation company, agmbasements.com. They do bathroom renovations too. Next report is at 7:21. Here's the forecast with Jill Taylor. No weather concerns for us today. We do have that brisk wind again, and you'll notice the clouds increase, but we'll stay dry. The guaranteed high 10 degrees for tonight, cloudy and 4, and for the weekend, quite a bit of clouds. Slight chance of showers Saturday night, and we could get into some sunny breaks for Sunday afternoon. Highs on the weekend about 10 to 12 degrees. Right now, it feels closer to the freezing mark. It's partly cloudy too at Pearson 3 at 680 News. Our guaranteed high 10.
680 News Time, 7:12.
Now the Dynamic Funds Market Minute.
Over to Mike Epple at the 680 News Business Center. Mike.
Hey, Catherine, we've got a cautious tone, we'll call it, at this point in the morning markets ahead of the 8:30 update on the labor market for the U.S. for the month of March. Ahead of that number, which will likely be negative for the month for jobs, the Dow Futures contract is down 222 points or 1%. We're coming off another rally on Thursday, though, where the TSX was higher by a little less than 2%, and the Dow was up like 2.25%, and a lot of that was spurred on by the 25% rally in U.S. oil prices, and that rally continues this morning. Price for oil up another 5% in early trade. One of the top performers early on this morning is Tesla. We'll tell you why. Coming up at 26 past the hour in the business report, the price for gold is down $9, $16.28 an ounce. Our dollar is down a third of a cent, 70.41 cents U.S. At the Business Center, I'm Mike Epple.
Research shows that investors who work with a financial advisor accumulate 3.9 times more assets than those who don't. Learn more at dynamic.ca/advice.
Still ahead on 680 News.
I have a confession. I've had an assistant this past week. Yeah, I've been getting help while working from home.
This is 680 News.
This is an important message from the City of Toronto. Stay home. During the COVID-19 pandemic, social distancing means staying home. Only go out for absolute essential needs, like food and medicine. We can't emphasize the importance of this enough. Stay 6 feet apart to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Avoid contact with others. Essential and critical services are being maintained. Please do your part. Learn more at toronto.ca/COVID-19.
You've suffered from anxiety and depression during this pandemic, and now your claim for disability is denied. My name is Aaron Waxman, and during this pandemic, we are open and working for our clients from our homes. If your disability claim is denied for any reason, call me at 416-661-4878 or pound LTD on your cell phone. And before you call, you should always remember that there are no bad questions. 416-661-4878 or pound LTD.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
It is Friday, 4 degrees, mainly clear. Good morning from the 680 News Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Paul Cook.
I'm Catherine Jeté. Here are the top stories right now.
The COVID-19 wake-up call today for people failing to listen to the warnings about physical distancing. Premier Ford and his team advisors set to unveil projections on various scenarios of how many Ontarians will die from the outbreak. No nationwide stay-at-home order just yet, but the topic came up last night in Prime Minister Trudeau's conference call with the premiers. And coming up after sports.
Spain overtakes Italy in number of coronavirus infections, now second in the world behind the U.S. The numbers in the United States continue to increase at an alarming rate. The peak there still a ways off.
680 News time, 7:15. Time now for 680 Sports.
From Sportsnet 590 The Fan, Simon Bennett.
Well, if reports are true, the NBA is thinking very much outside the box, or actually putting everybody inside one big box, if you will. If they are to finish their season at some point this summer, Sports Illustrated reporting the league is considering holding their entire postseason in Las Vegas. The idea that city-to-city travel will still be off the table come, say, July. What about the format? SI's Chris Mannix was in Tim and Sid.
Could I see a scenario where you have a single elimination at some point? Absolutely. I think that's definitely on the table, but all I can say is that the only thing that is off the table is a traditional best-of-7 postseason.
Meanwhile, SI reporting that baseball officials are considering all their options for if and when they can start the season. They would rather not play in empty stadiums or have a postseason stretch into December. Former Astros manager A.J. Hinch and GM Jeff Luhnow both suspended for the entire year due to their parts in the sign-stealing scandal. ESPN reporting they would be eligible to come back next year even if there's no baseball at all in 2020. Sports 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
680 News Time, 7:17.
I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat.
I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink.
The Scott Mission has been helping Toronto's hungry and homeless since 1941. And this Easter, they really need your help, especially during these uncertain times. You can provide a meal for just $4.25 and ensure that everyone who comes to the Scott Mission is warmly welcomed by people who care. Make your gift online today at scottmission.com/home or call 416-923-2400.
Hi, I'm Anthony Longo. Our family has been proud to serve Ontarians for over 60 years. And like your family, we're doing our best to stay positive during these challenging times. I'd like to thank all our team members for their continued commitment to serving our community. And I'm grateful to our loyal guests for being patient with us and with each other while we do our best to keep our shelves stocked, our stores clean, and our community safe. And even though we're all trying to keep our distance, I hope this experience will bring us all closer together. Thank you.
680 News Time, 7:18. Spain overtakes Italy, and the numbers continue to rise at an alarming rate in the U.S. Our coverage of the coronavirus pandemic continues with 680's Laura Carney, who joins us live with the latest international developments. Laura.
And Paul, the numbers out of Spain continue to be shocking. 117,000 COVID-19 infections now reported, overtaking Italy and now second in the world in number of infections behind the U.S. The death toll in Spain also seeing another startling increase, approaching a total of 11,000. But as we have been saying this week, health officials in Spain believe this is the peak. The BBC's Gavin Lee.
Some of the figures we're seeing, because there's a slight delay on them, their latest projections suggest that they are starting to get this under control. We will see, because there are other European countries, like the French, for example, that are having daily highs in terms of the deaths there, on 500 yesterday, in which they are starting to see numbers peak this week.
And in France, the number of cases now over 50,000, the number of deaths over 5,000. In the UK, Prince Charles, via video, officially opened a huge temporary hospital for coronavirus patients. London's Excel Conference Centre has been transformed into a massive healthcare facility with the capability of holding 4,000 patients if needed. And in the US, it is believed the peak's still at least a week away. The numbers there continue to increase at an alarming rate, recording more than 1,000 deaths in a single day. That is a one-day record in this pandemic, and close to 250,000 Americans are infected with coronavirus. Reporting live, Laura Carney, 680 News.
680 News Time, 7:19. In the UK, Prince Charles is set to open a new hospital that broke ground just 9 days ago in an effort to keep up with an expected surge in COVID-19 patients. This comes just days after the heir to the throne came out of self-isolation after testing positive for the virus last week. CNN's Nick Payton-Walsh is in London.
He has recovered, it seems, from his COVID-19 positive test, and now appears to be able to open that via video link. Part of the British government's messaging to show that they are prepared. That makeshift hospital was supposed to have 4,000 beds, but will open with only 500. Frankly, no one could have been up to the task of creating that quite massive capacity quite so quickly.
The UK is bound to ramp up its testing rates. Health experts say they're able to carry out 100,000 tests a day, 8 times the current levels. Coming up in 60 seconds, traffic and weather together on the ones, including the all-important weekend forecast.
680 News Time, 7:20.
Looking for a more peaceful place to work from home? At Premier Suites, they believe that being away from home should never mean sacrificing the comforts and safety of home. As Canada's largest provider of fully furnished temporary residences with fully equipped kitchens and in-suite laundry, Premier Suites provides beautiful homes from coast to coast with 24/7 guest support and professional cleaning. Choose from over 1,300 spectacular condos and townhomes across Canada. Find out more at premiersuites.com. Premier Suites. Stay safe.
Every time you spend some cash, you get some cash back with the CIBC Dividend Visa Infinite Card. Every time, with no limit on how much you can earn. You even earn on your monthly subscriptions. And when it comes to those necessary purchases like gas and groceries, you get 4% cash back on eligible purchases. 4%. Plus, right now, your first year's annual fee is on us. Don't just spend, earn. The CIBC Dividend Visa Infinite Card. Conditions apply. Learn more at CIBC.com/cashback.
680 News Time, 7:21.
Traffic and weather together on the ones, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Here's Eva Fragiscanos.
Right now, no major delays. If you're east or west on the 401, heading right across the GTA through Milton, Mississauga, through the center of the city into Durham region and farther east, it looks really good right now. No problems to report if you must head out onto those roads today. Westbound QEW west of Dorval, we've got a vehicle fire. It's just on the shoulder right now. So far, we don't have any emergency crews there yet, but if they do start to show up, they will eventually block a lane. So again, that's West QEW west of Dorval. Right now on the shoulder, we do have a vehicle fire, so definitely look out for that if you're heading past that direction. Missing the sweet sizzle of St. Louis? You can still enjoy the comfort food you need right now from St. Louis Bar and Grill with takeout or delivery. Visit stlouiswings.com for participating locations. The next report is at 7:31. Here's the extended forecast with Jill Taylor. We've got a brisk wind out of the north-northwest right now, and it feels closer to -2 in many areas, and we'll have increasing cloud as we work through the day. The guaranteed high 10 degrees. For tonight, cloudy and 4, and for the weekend, just have a slight chance of showers Saturday night. We'll stay dry, make it some sunny breaks as well. by the time we get to Sunday. Highs on the weekend 10 to about 12 degrees. Clouds will dominate Monday near 11, and sun and cloud for Tuesday, and the high again near 11 degrees. The average high is 9. Right now, partly cloudy, 2 at Pearson, 3 with sunshine at 680 News. Our guaranteed high today, 10.
And because Jill did not miss the weather guarantee yesterday, the jackpot climbs to $20,300.
Coming up at 7:30, Premier Ford promises a sobering discussion today on the COVID-19 crisis.
680 News Time 7:23.
The Government of Canada and public health experts are taking action to protect Canadians from COVID-19. Protect yourself and others, especially those with medical conditions and older adults. Wash your hands often. Avoid touching your face. Cough or sneeze into your arm and disinfect surfaces. You should also avoid crowded places. Avoid all non-essential travel. And if you're sick, stay home. To learn more, visit canada.ca/coronavirus. A message from the Government of Canada.
This is 680 News. Nearly 250 Canadians stranded aboard 2 COVID-19 stricken cruise ships are closer to returning home after the ships docked in Florida yesterday. The Zaandam and the Rotterdam have been in limbo for 2 weeks because no country would accept them after several passengers tested positive for COVID-19 and 4 later died. Lori Paris, the Canadian Press, reports.
Global Affairs Canada says after undergoing a health screening upon getting off the ships, Canadians showing no symptoms are being flown to Canada on a flight chartered by the cruise line. Once here, they will be screened again and subject to a mandatory 14-day self-isolation. It's not clear if passengers from the ships will be required to remain in quarantine at federal quarantine centers like passengers from the Diamond Princess and Grand Princess were in February and March. Lori Paris, the Canadian Press.
This portion of 680 News brought to you by Georgian Renovations. So many of us have been working from home for a few weeks now. How's it going? Our Jeff Verholman set up his office in his spare room with a helper and joins us now with how it's been going for him.
Yeah, it's been okay, although I miss you guys still in the newsroom, but it's not like I'm completely alone here. I've got my technical assistant, Chewy, right by my side. You're happy I'm home, right, buddy? Oh, okay then. I mean, we all talk about how happy our good boys and girls are to have us home, but are they really? Chew, how about Mama being home too? Yeesh. So what you're saying is you miss the alone time in bed? Guys, I think Chewy wants me to go back to work. I'm Jeff Verholman.
Sounds like Chewy's got a little bit of indigestion. Still ahead on 680 News. Visa and MasterCard making changes to tap policies at the checkout. Business in 60 seconds.
680 News Time 7:25.
Imagine a home renovation without all the stress, cost, and uncertainty. That's why Georgian Renovations created Smart Reno. Hi, I'm Jeannie Becker. Smart Reno is a home renovation that's quick, easy, and affordable. Simply choose from the Smart Reno packages or work with award-winning designers to create a vision that is truly your own. With a guaranteed price and time frame, it's never been easier to fall in love with your home again. Get your free no-obligation instant estimate today at GeorgianReno.com.
You might see a cannabis edible and think, ooh, that's cute. This one's shaped like a gummy bear. But with an unpredictable high and delayed effects, it's not as innocent as it looks. It's a bit like a miniature pony with a gambling problem. Or a unicorn using its horn to rebroadcast baseball games without express written consent from the league. Speaking of which, man, I could go for a ballpark jog right now. Oh boy, I think it's kicking in. Learn how to talk with your kids about cannabis edibles at drugfreekidscanada.org. Hey, where am I?
680 News Time 7:26.
Now the business report with Mike Apple. What's going on, Mike?
Well, all with push for social distancing within the retail sector, Visa and MasterCard, the two big players in the credit card industry, announcing that they are raising the tap limit on all credit cards to $250. That's up from $100, as retailers are seeking more cashless payment options during the outbreak of COVID-19. The Globe and Mail reporting that MasterCard made their announcement yesterday, followed by Visa. Contactless payments allow consumers to tap a debit or credit card at the point-of-sale machine if it's available. Some retailers still don't have that, but nevertheless,
If they do have TAP, well, then you can enter a PIN code, or you don't have to enter a PIN code or provide a signature, and thus cutting down potentially on the spread of the coronavirus. So we'll see if, in fact, that will play itself out pretty much immediately from reports, and whether or not consumers will take advantage of that. At the same time, the credit card agencies and the big banks getting a lot of calls about mortgage deferrals or monthly payment deferrals. But again, in the early stages of the pandemic, a lot of busy signals coming the other way. We're looking this morning at the markets basically cautious, we'll call it at this point. A less than 200-point drop for Dow futures. With the markets having a big rally Thursday this morning, it's sort of wait and see to see exactly how much damage was tabulated in the U.S. labor market last month from the shutdown, ostensibly, of the U.S. economy in the second half of the month. The expectation is the U.S. unemployment statistics will show a 100,000 drop in the number of jobs. Of course, that is a far cry from what we've seen the past 2 weeks, with more than 9 million Americans filing for unemployment benefits for the first time. The Canadian jobs report due a week from today from StatsCan. The price for oil adding another 4% after its biggest single-day rally on record Thursday, a gain of 25% after the U.S. President Donald Trump tweeted about a meeting or a call that he had with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia about a production cutback, which everybody in the energy trade has been waiting for the most part. And OPEC will now host a virtual meeting on Monday with other players, including non-OPEC participants. It's going to be interesting to see how much maneuverability they have on production quotas. At the Business Center, I'm Mike Epple.
Switch from your current alarm provider today and save. The Monitoring Center reviews say it all. Join the tens of thousands of homeowners who wish they had switched to the Monitoring Center sooner. Call us today or visit us at themonitoringcenter.com for a free quotation and start saving now. Think security? Think the Monitoring Center. Why? Because we care.
1-866-24-7 for $9.99. 1-866-24-7 for $9.99.
The world's biggest tennis stars battle it out this summer at the Aviva Center in Toronto. Reigning champion Rafa Nadal, homegrown Canadian talent Denis Shapovalov and Felix Auger-Aliassime, and four-time winner Novak Djokovic. With so much to love, don't miss the Rogers Cup, presented by National Bank. Single session tickets on sale now. Book now at rogerscup.com.
4 degrees, mainly clear in downtown Toronto. 680 News Time, 7:30.
Number one for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Here are Paul Cook and Catherine Chattay.
Good morning. It's Friday, April 3rd.
Here's what's making news right now.
Stark and sobering. That's how Premier Doug Ford is describing projections to be released by the Ontario government today about how many lives could be lost to COVID-19 in the province.
Are we on the precipice of a mandatory stay-at-home order here in Canada? The Prime Minister and premiers across the country agree that we're not at that point just yet.
It's being called a red alert. One GTA health region is already short of ventilators, and the worst of the pandemic hasn't hit yet.
Some insight this morning into what the NBA and Major League Baseball might be thinking, including the entire basketball playoffs, possibly in one place, Vegas. Sports at 45.
Markets cautious this morning ahead of the U.S. labor market stats. Price for oil continues its rally for a second day ahead of a Monday meeting for OPEC. Business at 56.
680 News Time, 7:31.
Time for 680 News. Traffic and weather together on the ones for the government of Ontario. Here's Eva Fragiscatos.
Well, right now we've got this ongoing problem westbound QEW west of Dorval. The 2 right lanes are still closed off. This is all because of a vehicle fire. We've got emergency crews on the scene. Looks like some heavy smoke coming from that vehicle, so just be careful. It is definitely causing a visual distraction for drivers, so be careful. Westbound QEW west of Dorval. It's the 2 right lanes that remain closed off because of this problem. So far as you pass by that problem, there is no delay as you make your way through there. The rest of the major routes, they look great. No other issues to report. If If you've been exposed to COVID-19, have symptoms, or traveled outside Canada, self-isolate for 14 days. Visit ontario.ca/coronavirus. Next report is brought to you at 7:41, and now we have the forecast with Jill Taylor. It's a cool start for us. The clouds are increasing. Right now, it's partly cloudy. 2 at Pearson. Feels, though, like -2 with that brisk wind out of the north-northwest. 3 and sunny at 680 News. Our guaranteed high today, 10.
680 News Time, 7:32.
Doug Ford wants us to know what he knows, and judging by his tone, what we are going to hear today about projected COVID-19 deaths will be quite disturbing.
680's Kevin Meisner's at Queen's Park, where the Premier and his team are set to give those who continue to ignore warnings about physical distancing a grim reality check. Kevin.
That's right, Paul. Premier Doug Ford is warning these projections to be announced today at Queen's Park will be stark, sobering, and hopefully a wake-up call for everyone.
We're in a very, very serious situation right now, and I can't be more upfront and honest than I am right now.
Just a couple of days ago, the Premier was resisting calls for data on how many people in the province could die from COVID-19 being released. But now he says with most snowbirds and those living outside the province back home, experts are better able to accurately measure the virus spread and what may happen in the coming weeks. As we hear from 680 News political affairs specialist John Stahl, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau continues to avoid calls for national projections.
Well, the PM is clearly losing patience with those pressing him to reveal what modeling information his government is using to make the historic decisions. His bristling is not a good look, though, when it comes to trust and transparency.
Ontario has 2,800 confirmed cases of COVID-19, including 53 deaths and 831 resolved. One projection modeled by the University of Toronto researchers is suggesting that even if the infection rate was cut in half, Ontario hospitals still could be overwhelmed, running out of ICU beds in just over a month. At Queen's Park, Kevin Meisner, 680 News.
680 News Time, 7:34. Prime Minister Trudeau and the premiers all appear to be on the same page on the matter of invoking the Federal Emergencies Act. 680's Jamie Pulford joins us with the latest on what was said in last night's conference call.
There have been a lot of calls to lock the country down with a mandatory stay-at-home order. The Prime Minister revealing that while many are complying with COVID-19 measures meant to flatten the curve, he's disappointed in those who are still going rogue.
You must listen to the world-class doctors who are already sharing the best available information. Ignoring them puts lives at risk.
Justin Trudeau held a more than 2-hour video conference call with the country's premiers last night. The consensus is that we're not quite there yet when it comes to a Canada-wide lockdown, and that it's not yet necessary for the Prime Minister to invoke the Federal Emergencies Act. A new poll from Campaign Research suggests